the folks will join us if they can make it.
Okay.
So, all right.
Hey everybody, welcome to another terrible podcast by comics. I'm comedian Eerie Diamond. This is my lovely co-host. I'm not gonna say
lovely.
it. Aspiring professional comedian, me Dave.
Aspiring lovely comedian. Yeah. Lovely in the intro. Oh yeah.
These
Welcome,
are
everybody.
yeah, let's do we let them introduce themselves, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. Welcome. We got our wonderful guests here today are the Barry comedians Ivy Vasquez right down there and Teddy Hull. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so kicking off the show, we normally have a little segment. Everybody who watches the show knows this. It's called Listen Up, where we just basically practice our listening skills and give our guests a chance to introduce themselves and tell us briefly your life story in roughly around 200 words. So why don't we start with you, Ivy? What's your life story up to this point? Go ahead.
Moved to San Francisco to pursue comedy. Was killing it. Then COVID. But now I'm running my own dog walking business and everything's going to be A-okay.
Oh, yeah. Right on. That is a big deal, too, because that's...
Like that attitude, Ivy. I like that attitude.
Thank you.
It's a big deal for anybody. I mean, because anybody who knows Ivy, because she started in Humboldt. You omitted the whole point of being in Humboldt first, and then coming to the Bay Area. But yeah, definitely coming here and not sinking, definitely swimming. So, all right, Teddy Hall, what's your life story up to this point?
Teddy Hall. I'm a comic, been doing comedy for about 7 years. Also a raging alcoholic, of 11 years sober though. And
no, don't cheer for that. I'm sorry.
11 years sober. 11 years sober.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Drinking. I stopped doing drugs. And looking at my set last night, I got some sexual issues that I need to resolve. So maybe we'll talk about that stuff tonight.
We can definitely bring that up in the next segment that we have here.
Yeah, now I want to know. Good teaser.
Oh, believe me, yeah, no, you're gonna want to hear about it because it was one of my favorite Teddy sets of all time. All right, so our next segment here is pretty much we've been in the shelter in place for several months. Everything has been going to shit for the last year. So we like to ask our guests, how are you holding up so far in 2020? So I guess let's since we know Teddy's, we'll get to Teddy. So how about Ivy? How are you holding up this so far?
Doing pretty great, actually, considering everything. I mean, I didn't bake any bread or anything like that, but I did get better at my cooking skills and stuff. Okay. So I'm pretty happy about it.
I didn't know if baking any bread was code for something horrible.
Oh, no, just a lot of people are doing like really intricate sourdough. And all I wanted to do was make pizza one time and I couldn't find fucking yeast anywhere, which was really uncool, everyone. Super uncool.
Started with the toilet paper and it moved into the yeast. Everybody's hoarding the yeast. It's fucking Eerie, how are you holding up this past week?
I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's good. Let's move on. What? Why are you shaking?
Like it wasn't, but
No. Why are you shaking your head, Teddy?
I didn't know this was a podcast of lies. All right.
I haven't even seen you in.
Shots fired. Actually, let me get I got another background for this. Where's this background?
Dave, how are you doing, man? How are you feeling?
Hang on, I got to get this background. Shots fired. Shots fired. Look at that. There you go. I just had to do that.
Nice. No, I haven't even seen you, Teddy. No, everything's been great this week. Nothing has crumbled. Nothing has been shitty. Everything's been, but one thing everything has been is exactly the fucking same. Yes. So not one thing has changed. And I feel like that's an issue. So, okay. Teddy, how you doing? How you holding up in this? Where are you staying, by the way? Are you with your? Are you?
No, I've moved out of my parents' house, but thank you for the demeaning comment.
That was a while ago. He's
No,
been
well,
living.
I like the chairs behind you or whatever. That's why I was like.
I'm not some slacker. I moved out when I was 30. Okay, so we're good. All right, and I appreciate your Oprah Winfrey message. It's made my day amazing. I don't know. Quarantine's been boring as shit. So yeah.
You've been able to work and all of that. Like you haven't. Yeah, you've been
working, right? You work at the law office or whatever.
Yeah, I have a very important job as an account manager, and I've been working from home.
Cool.
Yep.
But so then last night, and this I'll do my checking in with how things are going. We had a very fun Saturday night doing I got to do multiple shows. Teddy was gracious enough to give me a ride to the first show so that hopefully I could guilt trip the producer either into giving him a guest set or booking him on a later show. They hit it off, so hopefully that magic will happen later. And that was an all right show. It was a uptight Walnut Creek crowd, and I know how to pander to them. And then we went over to the more fun show, which was Doyle's new show at Back Lounge, it's in Dublin, and it's basically a hole-in-the-wall dive bar in Dublin, and they had a back area that they did outdoors. They had food. You had to buy food to get in, and all that. And it's run by I think it's owned or it's run by one of the members of the band Violence and Machine Head, which are known heavy bands from the area. And so they had a show in the back. We had masks and all that, and it was a very metalhead crowd. And we had a lineup of all kinds of us. All of us were friends in the lineup, and everybody had really good sets. And it was really. And Teddy, why don't you tell them about what you talked about, Ted?
Like you said, for failure, Teddy.
It's been some things that I've been thinking about over quarantine. So I have an extremely hot sister. Okay, and it seemed like, and I started out with jokes about how we're in love.
Trauma trigger warnings. All right, this was comedy. And I'm pretty sure Teddy does not have a sister. I've never heard of a sister this entire time. But go ahead, Teddy.
She is hot. All right, and this is not I did not start with incest jokes. These are not incest jokes. There's more about symmetry. All right, her face is just symmetrical. Okay, and when you look at her, you're like, that's hot. All right, and then her ass it looks like two puppies with the same DNA are just fucking together in yoga pants. And so I did a few jokes about that.
Walked Ivy. I just wanted to mention it.
Busy woman. She's running a business.
Okay.
She's got to drink. So yeah. But no, and then the other part. Okay, we'll cut away from that. I mean, we got an audience of mostly women. We don't need to get into the incest jokes.
Right.
But let's go further into since we got dogs, we have a professional dog walker. Go into what the next part was with Teddy.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too weird. Dave's absolutely right. So the next part to kind of to tone it down a little bit. I've been house sitting for this dog who's 11 years old, an older dog, and recently just started masturbating. And I really think that it's the result of us spending time together. All right. And so I just kind of explored that topic and how I felt. And I don't, again, this is coming off as weird. The dog is really masturbating. Like, it's using toys to masturbate. All right. It's masturbating in ways I've never seen things masturbate. It walks down the stairs and drags its little dog pussy. And it's fascinating stuff. And I thought it would be nice to share with other people. And so I've been talking about that in a very adult way.
How did it go? Was it a hit? Did it land?
Here's the thing, because we had set first off when you kicked it off with our wonderful show favorite Sarah Jan Bruno, who just basically, like, she got the crowd really going, as she was saying, the only pussy on the lineup, as she referred to it. And then Nate Spears did some good jokes, or did some good just total, like, riffed his set. He had a guest set, and then James, I'm forgetting his last name, but the guy who's always at the Hearth, what's his name? James
Gleason?
James Gleason. And he's all rapid fire weirdness. He was going into some shit about his how one of his was, I don't know if it was his sister or a niece or a nephew died in that parking lot or whatever, was left in a car when it was too hot and suffocated. And the kid was 14 and should have known how to open the door. It was clearly a joke. And so then Teddy goes up there and then kicks it off with this fire incest material going into bestiality, and they were eating it up. And that's when I was like, this is my kind of sick fuck crowd. So I got to do all my
Oh, you're right. I completely forgot you.
Oh yeah, I got to finish that up. I know it was. You needed
this was a heavy metal crowd.
Needed 666 showers after that show last night.
Yeah.
So it was great. No, they were a great crowd. They gave us food afterwards. We made okay tips, not the best, but not the worst. And it was the first show, so we were really kind of like testing the waters. They had a full crowd, and everything went well. No one was sick. They had, so I think it was fun, and I got to roast heavy metal a little. Oh, and Sean even had a good set. Sean Boyles even had a.
That is
Sean Boyles.
that you're saying like, whoa, and then there was this miracle that happened.
It really was. It was because he had good. He's been doing these jokes about numbers for days, and I've been watching them tank like every time he does it. Where he's doing he's basically doing George Carlin. It's like now all of a sudden he decided to pay attention to like English and math, and he broke down the words of numbers, and he did it excellently, and the crowd followed him, and I was like, holy shit, look at dreadlock George Carlin up there. And I was happy for him because he's been working on those jokes for 2 years, and they've never worked until last night. So that was really good.
Oh my God.
All right. So that's enough
Very
about that.
supportive of his friends.
Yeah, these are my friends. I love these people. All right. So our next segment, and this is inspired by our guests here, is, let me see, I got it here. Bam. Is it difficult being so attractive while in sheltering in place? Because you both are, I'm not gonna lie to you, you're both attractive people.
Thank you.
Right off the bat, as soon as Teddy Hall got in the chat, Luis was like, Teddy, I'm not gay, but you can look it up. That's Teddy, I'm not gay, but that's
Luis gay. I mean,
right there. I mean, just saying.
Like it's wild what's happening. Yeah. So, Ivy, do you wanna start us off? How do you? I love, by the way, that you're attractive too, Dave. I want you to know that you put yourself in there too. You're attractive.
I'm fishing for compliments here.
But I just want us all to feel attractive. So
I feel lovely as you describe me.
Ivy, how's it going? How is it going being attractive but being locked down? How is that?
Well, I found someone regular to fuck, and he also finds me super attractive.
Yay!
It's going great, y'all. I had to kick him out of my house before this podcast because I was like, I got to record stuff. You got to leave.
All right. Thank you for making us a priority. That's right there.
Oh, I feel kind of bad.
No, it's only an hour. It's only an hour long.
Yeah, he'll be right back.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll see him later. It's all good.
Thank you, Sumiko. Thank you for the hair compliment. Appreciate it.
Yep. But Melanie thinks people are desperate. So
well, I mean, come on, Melanie.
It's not
everybody.
Also,
I got to say, like, we with quarantine and everything else, it's given me time to come up with a skincare routine. So if anything, I've gotten more attractive.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah.
I got it. Any tips? Follow.
You are getting hotter and hotter every minute of the day, and you're just in your house. Don't you wish you just had a webcam right now, just on all the? I'm just kidding, Teddy.
This is the beginning of my OnlyFans.
All right, Teddy. That is, yeah, exactly. You know what? And that's the thing, is it could be like somehow involving, like, also use the OnlyFans to also push the dog walking business, just somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
I wish you were out here in Oakland because I could really use a dog walker.
Yeah.
If you need help, I'm willing to help out.
Where do you live? Where are you at?
I just love watching dogs.
Yeah, that was his dog.
We already gathered that.
Yeah, that was his
Apparently.
dog bit. That's
Yeah.
what he was doing. It worked better last night, everybody. I just want to let
Oh.
Ah.
I'm loving this. Believe me, I'm loving the awkward tension, but that's just,
So Teddy,
Teddy?
is it terrible being attractive in lockdown? Is it horrible? I mean, what is it like?
I would say lockdown has been pretty shitty. I appreciate Lewis's comment. I am going to cancel him, but I still. So yeah, I would say overall shitty.
Okay, that's all you want to say on it? Nothing else?
You don't want to talk about how you are discovering your own self more and you're just really into you, or
I do not give a fuck about myself. I'm so annoyed about hanging out with myself.
And you haven't found any way to like meet people like through other things, or is just I'm just
like Craigslist? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Is there just a really boring answer? That's why I was thinking you might extrapolate on what you were on your. But no, okay, forget it. Let's just move on. Dave,
you're like a concerned mom trying to teach me something. It's just all.
I sounds like she's trying to get you to admit something.
I'm very concerned.
That's like trying to get a confession out of our guest here.
No, I want to have a dialogue, and I feel like he's holding back. And
he said it's been horrible, and I think that was a good answer. I mean,
okay, all right. You're
all right.
You're
so moving on to our
you don't even want to talk about. What about you? Has it been hard being in quarantine? But you're kind of not in quarantine. You're all over the place. Like you're doing.
Yeah, I'm breaking. I wear my masks. I got my sanitizer on my chain wallet so I can look twice as cool out there. I got it all taken care of. We've all, I do all precautionary and shit. So, but and you, Eerie, is it tough being attractive in shelter in place?
Oh, that was so sweet of you to call me attractive. I appreciate that. No, I don't care. The only thing that sucks, and this is going to sound so vapid, which is awesome, is I keep buying clothes that I have not worn yet because
I do the same with t-shirts.
Don't fucking go anywhere, and basically all I wear are like sweatpants and tank tops. So
hell yeah.
I even work from home, so it's like I'm buying all these cute things. I bought fucking patent leather thigh-high boots. Okay. Steve Madden, $99. They're so fucking hot because I have a patent leather jacket that's really hot, and I was like, perfect. Yeah, when am I gonna wear that? I don't know. Maybe next year. I don't know.
While you walk your dog.
No, and I'm not that bitch either. I'm not that chick that does that. But yes, it's just it's. I'm doing things that are ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just anyway.
Whatever keeps us sane.
I'm just doing stupid stuff because. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave. I know you.
Our next topic. I know we're all going to have some opinions on, because this has been like real. It's strange to have the crossroads of entertainment and politics be like I mean, they've been aligned for so long, but to where it be at the forefront of right down to even the current election, and that is, did you enjoy the Borat movie? And if not, why are you saying that it's a huge pile of crap?
Can I ask first, Dave?
Yes.
Can you give me your take on it? Because I'm really curious about your take on the Borat.
We are very
more or less. Here's the thing. The novelty of the Sacha Baron Cohen doing characters kind of wears off when you know who the fuck Sacha Baron Cohen is. It's harder for him to then to create that hilarity of shock that in the Ali G show used to do. The movie was cool. Yeah, the Ali G movie, Borat movie, the Bruno movie, those were great. But part of what made them work was the anonymity of the character, and also really the anonymity of Sacha Baron Cohen. Most of America did not know who the fuck that was. They just were like, the character it's somebody playing this goofy foreigner doing a funny accent in the middle of shock pranks. And it was very overwhelmingly funny at the time. It was that whole shock value, prank style shit. So when I saw this, or when I was about to see this, I didn't have my expectations high, because that's lightning striking twice. And clearly they didn't have expectations high either, because it's on Amazon Prime. It's not it's not a nationally released theatrical comedy. Like, they did not have high expectations. Larry Charles was the director of the first one, and he's a guy who's been around. If you know Larry Charles, he's a writer director. He's been around for a long time doing shit. And I didn't do the research on who the people were helping him now. The fact is, he did that other show on Showtime, Who is America, or who, whatever the one it was, where he was playing new characters, and that one was pretty funny. I think the funny thing is a lot of my friends, there's been people that have been watching it. Some people are like, yes, it's great, they got whatever. And then those have been far and few between. There's been other people who just were like, dude, it sucked. And then there's been people that I know who just don't like it because they think that it's that he's using it to align with his left-leaning politics. And I'm like, he was always doing that type of shit. I don't think it was necessarily aimed at being political, as much as being just, again, more exploitive of the country itself. But it was funny because some of my friends who were saying that are like these punk rock guys that think that they have to, like, that it's more punk rock to poke holes in the intolerant liberal media or liberal thing that they think that they're up against. And they're all white dudes. I mean, for the most part. There's like one non-white dude, and it's actually a friend of Teddy's. Yeah, he's the one guy that's and he's a cool dude too, but it's weird. So
Dave, what is your personal opinion on the movie? Did you see
it was all right. I mean, there was some funny scenes. Oh, the takeaway from it, the best part of the movie is the girl that plays his daughter. She, I forget her name, something Balakova or whatever. She was great.
I actually saw her in an interview today. So,
no, she nails it. I knew I mean, we'll get to the key scene that comes up later in it, but the main scene that was the Rudy Giuliani, lead in and all that, I knew that was going to be a lot of hype into bullshit. Rudy might have even been in on it for the way that it played out. You never know. It definitely made him look bad. I don't think he was in on it. I think he thought he was getting some, and then realized he wasn't.
Yeah. So my take is that well, first of all, I've only seen like 2 Borat movies, and like I'm not a fan.
There was only one Borat movie.
Yeah. Okay, one Borat movie. Oh, then it must have been that other movie you were talking about.
That
he was in. Bruno. Yeah, that he was in.
His name is Sacha Baron Cohen. You saw 2 Sacha Baron Cohen movies.
I did. And you are absolutely right, because the funny thing about Sacha Baron Cohen is that he is this very upper crust, proper Englishman, which is hilarious. Mm-hmm. He is married to Eileen Fisher, who's fucking badass bitch that I love. And but I don't enjoy his movies just because I don't enjoy his movies. So I don't know. I don't like his brand of humor. It's totally fine. Whatever. But Ivy, have you seen this? I'm
actually gonna watch it probably tonight. But I did recently, like in the last few months, I rewatched the first movie, and there's a scene where he's taking a shit in front of the Trump Tower.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, still relevant. So
they do a callback to that shot in the opening of the movie. So
perfect.
Now, one of the things too about the thing about it, because I liked the Ali G show more than when I first saw it, and then and as I got it, I actually thought Bruno was more of the bolder character. That's why, again, when people were like, when my friend was all talking about this seeming all lefty, whatever, I'm like, he's done the Bruno character as well, which tends to play with both the homophobic side of things and also the I want to say like the left side's kind of its own, I don't know what it is, kind of caught up with itself, its own self-centeredness.
Is that the one where they did the nude fight scene?
Yeah,
that was what that was. Yeah,
no, that Bruno is hilarious.
That was hilarious, but the rest of
it was great. He did shit. He could have gotten killed.
That
Yep.
was hilarious. So Ivy, so you're a fan and you're excited about seeing it. I'm excited about hearing your takeaway of it later on. That's amazing.
Yes, of course.
yeah.
I'll fill you in. And just so you guys know, the Bruno movie, I went to go see it with my uncle in theaters because we both loved Borat so much. And we had to leave the theater because there's a scene where it's just a penis swinging around and it stops and then your urethra opens and like says something or whatever. And then my uncle was like, we gotta go. So we were equally traumatized together.
You missed the nude fight scene. That was the best part.
It wasn't nude. I mean, it was just it was MMA, and the nude fight scenes in Borat. That's between
Oh,
him.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, where he's got where they got the big black thing covering his
That's
dong.
what I'm thinking of.
It seemed like his dong's so huge, which it could be.
But
yeah.
Teddy, what's your takeaway? Have you seen it? Are you interested?
I saw it. The problem that I had is I watched Borat before I watched the sequel, and I remembered how much I loved Borat and how good the original was, and then I watched the sequel and I was like, yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, it's just all right. We actually, though, we mentioned there was a scene that we talked about last night where not to give anything too much away, but one of the things about it that I think it's kind of, you watch it, there are two guys that help him out that, again, he's Borat, he's playing a character who's clearly like from some vague dare I say Middle East territory or something, and you've got two hillbilly Americans who clearly are the flag Trumpers, guns, all that shit, and he encounters them in the dark and is telling them that his car's broke down or something and he has no place to stay, and I hate to say it, but it was the most it was actually a warm thing to see these guys actually let him stay with them. And then through that, he then does his antics. And these guys were pretty tolerant, even though they're going on about how they think the Democrats are evil, that QAnon, they were on their QAnon shit, the elite drinking adrenochrome, all that shit. But the thing about it, and it's one of those things where I think it was one of the few points where I'm like, we kind of forget that sometimes when push comes to shove, people can be good even when we're completely at each other's throats. And it's the one thing that I was telling Teddy, I'm like, when these guys helped him, and he's doing some, I don't want to give it away, he does some weird shit there, and they continue to help him. And I mean, and these are guys that you would think, after 9/11, they would have wanted to, fucking, commit a hate crime on them. Even after 20 years, you would think still that they would have that kind of thing. And it's just a point of like, it's weird. It's like, I think, people, when they don't even mean to, sometimes they do good things. And I think there's also, if you watch, I just watched that David Letterman with Dave Chappelle.
That was so good. I watched that today.
I highly recommend everybody watch it because of everything that Chappelle talks about is what I'm kind of pointing out in that we are, we're kind of being conditioned to look for more what's wrong in everything and to not be acting with compassion and forgiveness in the face of a lot of fucked up shit. Cause it's just, that's what I've found when I've encountered something. I mean, and yeah, I'm not saying these are solutions. I'm just saying these guys are shitheads, but they were nice enough they were humane enough to let this stranger stay at their place. So it's weird.
Yeah. That's very cool. So we talked about that, Dave. Let's move on to the next. Although
it's related.
Yeah,
it's related. So, and I think Ivy's got enough information. You have to know about all this because there was no avoiding it this week. I think it's been the biggest commercial for the movie. I think probably there's been more Amazon Prime free 30-day subscriptions because of it. But was it a tuck or was it not a tuck? Do you care whether it was a tuck? That's really all that question is.
I'd like to say something just right off the bat. Does anyone think that Giuliani isn't a piece of shit anyway? So I'm not super surprised. So yeah, I don't think it was a tuck. I think he was grabbing his junk. Ivy, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I didn't see, but I hate him. He can go to whatever hell he believes in. So
Janine's asking, does anybody know if he was friends with Epstein too? I would imagine. I mean, who knows? I'm sure they've been to a dinner party before. They got that, he's been around a long time. So also he got quite the ego after, because he was mainly the guy responsible for leading the charge for ending the mafia in and around New York, like really putting into practice the RICO cases that took down a lot of the main mafia heads.
Yep.
And then Times Square, cleaning up Times Square to make it more of like a mall and less of a sex worker.
And that was great, but he is degenerated into like a fucking crazy person. Like, that's the weird thing. Teddy, what do you think about all that?
Typical politician.
What do you think
was
about
it
all
a tuck
that?
or was it not a tuck, you dog fucker? What was it?
Wow. Not everything we say in our routine.
he just likes to watch. He doesn't fuck the dog.
Yeah, and also,
What a sweet thing to say.
I don't want to come off as pretentious, like I'm above not fucking a dog. Okay.
Oh my god.
Point
I've
taken.
seen some beautiful dogs out there. Yeah.
Okay, he didn't know that she was playing a 15-year-old chick, right?
No, she
She's not though.
No, he didn't know that. He didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he wasn't talking. He just thought a super hot chick was flirting with him. He probably thought that she was a fan of him stopping the mafia, and so he thought he was gonna, get laid. I mean,
that's the vibe, more or less, is that he at least thinks that there's gonna be some activity. I think if regardless, because what's funny is when you see the motion, it's like, it's not the tucking, like whether he tucked his shirt in or I don't get the impression he was starting to fondle his junk. Maybe he was adjusting his balls or something, but it's the fact that he laid down.
It's not like he was wearing short-ass jeans or something. Like, why did you
talk more about this shirt tuck or whatever the fucking hands pants? I'm like, motherfucker laid down. I'm sorry. I've been with some hookers in a hotel room. That's what I do when I'm with a hooker in a hotel room. I lay down.
Thank you for supporting sex workers, Dave. I really appreciate that.
I was in a dark place, but I was happy to be
with a sex worker, Dave. God, fucking get it.
This was happened. It happened in
Did you tip her?
In the 2000s. It happened in the 2000s, so it's still, I can still say, hooker. 2010 and after sex worker. I'll go with that. So.
I love the logic, dude. It's like sobriety just means you give less fucks, and you're like, well, I have nothing else but to give no fucks. So here we go. That's why I have a chain wallet.
I think I like my friend. I think Stephanie's joining us here. She said he will need to do this 40 more times and buy a whole tuck island before people call it like it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani sounds like a villain name from like a DC comic. You know what I mean?
Well, he kind of was. I mean,
Batman's gonna take down Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. Well, no, I would dare say Harvey Dent ended up becoming a villain. Harvey Dent being Two-Face, and the thing about Rudy was like, the things that he did, even at the time, I've read books on certain mafia figures and all that stuff, and I'm not saying I'm pro mafia by any means, but there was just, he went after the mafia in such a way that it was clearly like this, he was making his career on it, and yeah, there's obviously some good. He wasn't doing good to do good. He was doing good to further himself and politically and all that. And that's why even after the 9/11 stuff, he was one of those guys that couldn't say a sentence without 9/11 for at least the next 5 to 10 years after 9/11. And so that's
never forget. Except for that one year that I forgot.
I'm sure he's wanting this to be forgotten. So, and yeah, he was the mayor of New York during 9/11. That's why. Yeah. So he went on SNL.
Dave, do you want to go? Oh, by the way, Laura, thank you so much for tipping us. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll throw by the way, to donate to the comics tonight, please Venmo I'll put that.
I just want you to know that, we really appreciate any money you can give us because artists are having a hard time. We're starting to do outdoor shows, but we're still pretty much in our houses. So please, if you're enjoying yourself, tip us at Venmo. Or if you're too lazy to get Venmo, go ahead and go PayPal. Sorry, Laura. Go ahead and get some PayPal. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on.
Yay!
I just love how you slam anybody donate if you're too lazy to get Venmo, and right after the first.
I just feel like at this point, like you should do a Venmo.
It's not laziness. It's not laziness. Some people don't like downloading apps on the phone. I'm going to give credit to one of our loyal audience members, Kim, over here, because she actually asked me about Venmo, and one of the things about it, because I'm paranoid, borderline conspiracy theorist, all that shit, and the fact that I don't know how I trust all these kinds of things, just trusting something if you got it linked to your bank account, all that shit. And all I did was I let everybody else be the canary in the coal mine. People were using Venmo for a good year or so. And it wasn't until I did a show where they had to pay me via Venmo. So of course, I'm not going to not be paid for a comedy show. So then I did the Venmo, got it set up. And to be fair, I've not heard of anybody having an issue. It's been one of the most solidly run companies, startup companies or whatever.
Venmo's owned by PayPal.
Huh? What's that?
Venmo is owned by PayPal. PayPal owns Venmo.
So that was funny to me is that it seems to be much more streamlined. Like they got it locked down versus I know PayPal's had some issues before.
Venmo just has a better app. That's basically
probably. Yeah.
So, Dave, what was your next topic? Or
I did an augment. I called an audible, everybody, because I forgot about this. So I didn't update everybody, but I think it's perfect. It's kind of a good audible to call because it kind of catches you off guard, just like it really does in realsies, in real life. Let me find the background.
Come on, get to it. Hit us.
I got it. Where the fuck is my background for this? Oh, there it is. Bam. Here's a quiz for everybody. Did we lose an hour or did we gain an hour?
Oh my God.
It was daylight savings last night.
It was?
Oh, was it?
Oh, it wasn't? It was it or was? So I don't even know.
It's probably tonight. It's usually on a Sunday to Monday.
Yeah, it's usually.
Next week. Okay, people are saying it's next week. So, well, fuck me.
Did you lose or gain an hour last night?
I guess we did none. We started none and there were none. So it didn't happen last night.
I have a question.
I was told it was, and that just tells you don't trust an alcoholic in recovery. So.
Wow, that's
wow.
Mean. That's mean. So I do have a question for you guys. I have a topic. How do you guys feel about doing so lately? There's been a lot of shows opening up outside. But I'm still not seeing like the distancing thing happening that much. And a lot of times they're at a place where you can actually sit and not have your masks on. How do you guys feel about that? Are you feeling weird about that or whatever? Ivy, what do you?
I've already done a few of the outside shows.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, we're all trying to do prevention, right? It's just like, keep as much distance as you can, try to put your mask up when servers come, that kind of thing. And like, just like condoms, masks, don't work 100%, it's just a preventative. It's just a little extra something. And like, I have been liking the fact that the comics and stuff who are putting on these shows, like they'll be finding ways to sanitize microphones or use like microphone condoms. And I even bought my own microphone condoms. They're like disposable microphone covers. And so I just put it on. Even if they've sanitized it, I don't care. I just put it on because it's doubling up. Sometimes you got to double wrap that shit. And so and it's been fine. And then I just get the fuck out of there after I'm done, and I've been fine. And then I just think more frequent testing, just like how you have to go to Planned Parenthood every time you have a suspicious ingrown or strange itch or something, and they just tell you it's vaginal bacteria, you're fine, nothing's wrong, and you're like, oh, thank God. And you know, you just got to do it like that. Just keep thinking of it like that. Stay safe, you know.
Keep doing those breast exams. No, let's just keep it rolling. Like keep doing the breast exams.
Just
Check
pre-screening.
on
Do
your
some
food.
pre-screening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking awesome. Teddy, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've been doing some outdoor shows. What are your feelings? Like, are you feeling weird? Or are you feeling like, fuck it, let's just do this? Or how is it going?
I don't really care for myself. Like I don't see old people, and like I feel like if I get it, it's gonna suck, but it's not gonna kill me. So I try to respect, you know, other people, but I like Dave's picture. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy it's back. You know, I don't want old people to die.
Yeah. Oh, Deneen, thank you so much for tipping us. I really appreciate that. Thank you. We all appreciate that. So you're cool then. You're cool. Your answers are so short. Like this is a weird interview, I feel like.
He's a classic dude. I mean, like, you know, you're old, like you're, you know, doesn't say, you know, what are you thinking? Nothing.
You're fucking thinking about fucking dogs. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Like, schools mostly. That
My
one.
sister.
Yeah.
My sister, you know.
Yeah, my sister.
I told you guys some dark things inside myself that I constantly think about, and you know, and I'm not open enough. I don't understand.
His sister's dog.
So, do you have a sister?
I have two sisters.
Oh,
You do?
Oh, you don't want to fuck the other one. I see how it is.
you want to see them fuck each other? Is that what your jam is? Or
I'll fuck them both. Okay, if you want one. That, right? I'm not into that shit.
Yo, the show. Yeah, Luis is saying hook it up. Do not hook it up. That's all I ask of you.
oh, Deneen says his sister's dog. We went in a totally weird left. That was awesome. I'm sorry. You didn't answer my question. So you would like to see them fuck each other or no?
That's fucking disgusting, Ivy.
What?
What I'm saying.
By the way, I'm the one who said it. So don't make me to Ivy.
So,
sorry. I didn't mean it.
As far as my thoughts on this social distancing at the shows.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Some places are obviously doing them more, some are less. There's, you know, I'm more, you know, as far as like most of the people that are there are people that, you know, are not immune compromised or, you know, any of that stuff. And if you are, most people that I know, because I know Sumiko, I believe you've talked about it, I know, on Facebook. That's one of our audience members. She's mentioned, because I know she has immune issues that she talked about a lot. You know, just seeing it around. There's people that, you know, obviously I think it's more concerning if you see these kinds of things. And then, yeah, people are like going to grocery stores and all that kind of stuff. I just keep an eye on where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I tend to be, you know, I'm in close quarters with, you know, I've rolled with Teddy someplace. And as far as like, you know, I kind of what you're saying. I'm not concerned for me. I do try to be mindful when I go to other places, but we did a show in Humboldt, me and FC Sierra. You know, when we were staying, we stopped by my parents' house on the way home to stay there for the night. And my parents have my stepdad's cousin staying with them and her husband. So we don't share bathrooms when we were there and stuff. We're just, you know, we try to be mindful of it. But for the most part, I don't really,
Hi, Jason.
You know, he's been here the whole time. He's been watching.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you before.
No, he didn't have his camera.
So that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't think that, like, even if I get it, I don't think I'm gonna die. But I live with someone who's had pneumonia twice, was hospitalized for it. You know what I mean? And like my 86-year-old mother-in-law was staying here for a week and a half, and that's when it freaks me out, because I don't want to be the one that kills someone I love, you know. And that's why it's like it's weird, because as much as I want to go do comedy, there's something in the back of my head now that's just like, fuck, you know, like don't get it. And so I think somehow this whole thing has, I'm like a superwoman. Like I hardly ever get sick. It's amazing. I don't go in the hospital. Nothing ever happens to me.
Usually the things that happen before somebody gets it.
But
that's what everybody. There's been a lot of cases where somebody was bragging about how they did not get sick.
I've been alive for I'm really old. I've been alive for a long time, and I rarely get sick or anything. But the point is that but the idea, it's now become this weird, it's like the fear of rats for me. It's like become this kind of weird. I've fucked up my head now. It's like it's you know what I mean? It's become this I don't know. It's just weird because I'm extra cautious, like you said, Dave. However, I'm also somehow a little scared all the time to touch anything, to talk to people, and then there's always some fucker on the plane. I've flown a lot this year. There's always some fucker on the plane who's like, I don't need my mask. And you're just like, fuck you, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, it's weird that someone who isn't usually scared of being sick has gotten something in the back of their head where they're like, this fucker's going to make me sick. You know what I mean? It's weird. You know what I mean, Ivy? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yeah, I have to take I kind of just sort of have to take calculated risks. And if I'm planning a trip to see family, like my mom or my grandma, I'm going to visit my grandma for Thanksgiving. I'm going to do really strict, not seeing anyone, not agree to do any shows, not anything that's going to be a potential.
I'll take all these vitamins.
Before seeing my grandma.
I take a shit ton too. Wow, that is a lot.
My parents sent them to me. So
Teddy, how do you is there any weird phobia that you've developed because of or are you fine?
I mean, just when I have to throw away when I'm at the dog parks and if I have to open up one of the trash can lids to throw away dog poop, that's the only thing I'm like, I don't want to touch the lid. I don't want to touch the lid.
Yeah. It's weird. You're like it's like cooties. You're like, oh, this hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get some
I'm holding a bunch
skills.
of shit, so it's like whatever, dude.
Get some hacky sack
But you
skills.
can touch shit. That is 100% true. Teddy, nothing. You're not scared at all. There's no time that you're like, these bitches are gonna get me sick. Like this table right here. No.
Not about COVID. I mean, I got weird shit going on, but not about COVID.
Well, we knew you had weird shit going on.
Yeah.
But...
Right. What is that weird shit? You should tell us about the weird shit. No? Okay. I'm just curious. We got a little time. You can.
Well, we got another topic.
Sorry, Dave.
Topic to get to, and I think it's a good one to end on, and that is, will you be happy when this shit show is over?
Fuck yeah, dude.
And there you go. So it's more or less, it's not, and I'm saying more so, the shit show I'm referring to specifically is more probably the election than anything.
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So a specific shit show.
Yeah. No, I kept it vague for fun to, because you could be talking about this very show. I could be talking about life. I could be talking about whatever. But really, the biggest shit show of the year is the election. And so, will you be happy when this shit's over?
It depends on the result, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not anticipating either result to yield favorable results, because either way, there's going to be a half of the country that's going to be very disappointed and probably wanting to act out on it. People have talked of this, of the idea of a civil war, and I'm like, only between some very small teams that actually want to go out and do those battles. I'm not sure about, I think the majority of the people, even when you're pissed off or whatever, that's why we passed by on the way back home on Saturday, we passed by a bunch of people and they're flying American flags, which clearly Trump rally overhead as we're going through San Rafael. And then it just reminded me of an old Dave Chappelle bit where that he did on Killing 'Em Softly, where he was talking about the cultural differences between black folks and white folks, that talking about who they were going to vote for. And he was asking some of the audience, like, who are you voting for? And he's like, see, he's not going to tell me. That's a cultural thing. He goes, if I asked you go to any barbershop, they'll tell you who they're voting for, like, or for whatever reasons. And he was saying that culturally, white folks will not tell you who they're going to vote for. That has changed very, very drastically.
Yeah.
It took seeing that rally to remind me of that bit where I'm like, oh no, now it's the exact opposite. And it's more so, I'm one of these people where it's like, I mean, I have no problem saying that I'm voting for Biden, only because he's a career criminal politician, and I trust that more than somebody who's been shaking things up and riling up the racists more than anything else. But the fact is, there's a lot of people of color across the country who also will vote for that motherfucker. I watch a show called The Star Report. Yeah, a lot of people do.
Like my brown dad.
They all have their reasons. It's weird.
Yeah, no, and they all have their reasons. Fine, whatever. I 100% agree with you, though. It's weird. It's weird. And
I want to get over with, and then I want things to die down and get
yeah. Well, it won't. But it's gonna take a while. I told you I just finished the John Bolton book, and the thing I think is hilarious is that this guy is like a monster. He is like social reform. Fuck that. Like, let's go back. But he hates Trump. He hates him. So if somebody that's such a hardcore fucking Republican hates him so much, that's just shows you what an asshole Trump is. Like, anyways, Ivy, how are you feeling about the whole political spectrum and all that?
I already casted my vote. I had like the mail-in ballot, so I sent that in 2 days after I received it because I wasn't trying to fuck around. And I do agree with Dave about how it's really made racist people feel more comfortable with being outwardly racist. And if anything, though, it just kind of shows how much of it was really there, because I understand that we all knew that there were racist fucks in this country, but it's just like I think it just really showed the true face of a lot of things, and showed how much change really needs to happen. So I don't know. I really hope that this comes to a more positive head. Biden is not my ideal candidate. I was really wanting Bernie Sanders. But at this point, it's just like Trump has never been in politics. He's always been a businessman, so he's going to think like a businessman. And
more of an entertainer. I mean, because he was, more than a businessman. He's a
he was a shit businessman. So
well, man, Ted DiBiase knows more about how to work business than Trump does, and they are practically the same guy. They both work in wrestling.
But either way, he needs to be out, and I just want this to be done so we can all stop chewing our nails and all that stuff. Yes, you're right. Trump is he's a proclaimed businessman. He's had so many businesses fail. He's not a very good anything.
The thing that's funny, if you watch the Letterman and Chappelle discussion, one of the things Chappelle talks about in describing his community, and what I think also points to what I even talk about in the Borat thing, is community being communication. It does boil down to being able to like talk to one another about subjects that are uncomfortable to bridge this gap, and it boils down to community more. It's these figures heads are really they're more about just kind of vying for the control that they're going to have anyway, and separating people, working class people, from each other, because the fact is, when people are united, then they're terrified. That's the last thing they want is unity. And one of the things that a buddy of mine from my recovery group, he went to help out a buddy his move to Oregon, up to Bend, Oregon. So he's driving him up there, and dude's a black dude, his friend, and they went to a strip club later that night. And his friend went to use the bathroom, and while he was in there, a guy who's like kind of buzzed or whatever approached him, and like in the bathroom, and he's like, "Hey man, do you think that all lives matter? Like, do you?" And the guy said, "Look, yes, I do." yeah, I do think all lives matter. But what if you're asking me that because you feel threatened by what Black Lives Matter is trying to say? He's making the point. What Black Lives Matter was saying is that it's the fact is trying to acknowledge the fact that yes, if all lives matter, Black lives have not been treated as such, and that's what this movement is trying to bring attention to. It is not trying to diminish anybody else's life as much as trying to bring attention to bringing people to the level of equality in treatment. And by the end of it, the guy understood. The guy listened to him. And that was a conversation in the heart of Trump territory in Oregon at a strip club with alcohol involved.
Nice.
That goes on south so hard. And yeah, and that's the kind of communication that needs to happen.
Yes,
and,
agreed.
And it's tough. It's not easy because it's so much easier to shout, to take out our feeling of impotence over something, to like, we have a lack of control. We can't control everything. So we want to take it out on other things and other people. And, and they may be the problem, but we got to figure out some shit. Oh, my parents are here and they're late. Look at this.
So we're running out of time. But I want to, Teddy, I want to kind of let you answer that as well. What are your thoughts on the election? What are your thoughts on all of this? What are your thoughts on everything?
I mean, you got Ivy, Dave, you guys all said all the main points, and I agree with all of it. I grew up in Los Gatos. I'm a person of color, so I agree with all of that stuff. So.
He has tattoos, folks. Have a sense of humor. That's what he's.
And also, I'm dating a Black girl, and her mother called me colored, and so I believe that makes it okay to say in podcasts.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, maybe she meant because your tattoos and stuff that you were colored on. But not.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? That's what you should be doing right now, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So.
We don't do bits here, but
hey, a little bit.
I'm just kidding. We do. We don't care. Well, this is Dave. Let's. We're getting close to the end of the show here. Do you want to?
We are. No, we were at the end. Not close.
Yeah, okay. We're actually there. Okay.
Yeah.
Any last words, Teddy? Any last words?
Before we murder you.
Yeah. This has been fun, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Very good.
Very good.
Actually, we got another 5 minutes to go because Luis has to pee, and I don't want him to pee.
You okay, Luis?
Yeah. He'll be fine.
You sure? I would like to thank Luis, Deneen, and Laura so much for tipping us. We really appreciate that. We're all comedians just trying to make it happen over here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We really appreciate that. And Ivy, do you have any last things you want to say? Any points you want to make?
I just want to say you can follow me on my Instagram, Ivy League Comedy. I post my Zoom show information or the occasional live show that I'm starting to do up again. And make your own decisions. Be smart. Be safe. And thanks for joining us today, everybody.
Yay, yeah. Thank you so much. Dave, any last words, or we're good? Are we out?
No, go ahead. Oh, my last words. When I think of my last words, I think of what a great man once said, that when water runs through the hills, crisp, in a waterfall like fashion, and almost as if the drops are dripping into a running stream, a stream of consciousness, if you will, that stream can then channel itself into a sewer of thought. And that's sometimes he peed. Oh, he's gone. That motherfucker left. All right,
so mean.
All right, yeah,
you're so mean. One more thing. Hold on a second.
What's that? What are we holding for?
We just
We're
got
holding up everybody's time. This is this Sunday. 7 o'clock. My parents thought the show was at 6 again, or was it 7 again? They joined us late.
Don't be mean.
I'm not being mean. They came from Coppola Wine, and that's why they thought the show was. No, I'm just.
I know you're right. It's like pirate.
You missed one of the best ones, folks.
Thank you all so much for joining us on another terrible podcast by comics. We really appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much, Teddy Hall. Please look out for comedian Teddy Hall. Ivy Vasquez, amazing comedian. Please look out for her. Thank you so much, me and Dave. I'm Eerie Diamond. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Next week. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice job, Teddy. Way to creep everybody the fuck out.
Yeah. Nothing's changed.
I'll see you soon, man. Cool.
All right. See ya.